People who work in a dream job, what's your story?
I've been a nurse at Meadowbrook Psychiatric Hospital for over a decade now. It's a place where the air always feels thick, where silence holds its breath, and where shadows stretch a little too long. This isn't your ordinary hospital. It's a labyrinth of fear and despair, where the boundaries between sanity and madness blur and twist. My first day was a baptism of fire. The security gates clanged shut behind me with a finality that sent a chill down my spine. I walked down the long, sterile corridors, the walls lined with peeling paint and flickering fluorescent lights. The sounds that greeted me were unsettling. Muffled cries, incoherent mumblings, and the occasional spine-tingling scream. The patients at Meadowbrook are not just mentally ill. Many have harrowing backstories. Drug abuse, violent crimes, and traumatic pasts are the common threads that weave their lives together. Each room holds a tale of horror and heartbreak. In room 201, there's Johnny. He was once a promising athlete before heroin took hold of his life. The drug-induced psychosis drove him to kill his best friend, mistaking him for a demon in a paranoid frenzy. Now, Johnny spends his days pacing his cell, muttering to invisible specters, his eyes vacant yet haunted. On bad days, he bangs his head against the wall until blood trickles down, and it takes 3 of us to restrain him, to prevent further self-harm. Down the hall in room 204 is Clara, a tragic figure whose life was marred by domestic violence. One night, in a state of dissociation, she stabbed her abusive husband, killing him. She doesn't remember the act but relives the trauma every night. Clara screams in her sleep, clutching her blanket as if warding off unseen blows. We have to sedate her often, for her own safety and the sanity of those around her. Then there's Daniel in room 209. He has a look that can pierce through your soul, a remnant of his days as a high-ranking military officer. PTSD has shredded his mind, leaving him trapped in a perpetual battlefield. He's a danger to himself and others, prone to violent outbursts that have left more than one nurse with broken bones. The terror in his eyes is palpable, a mirror to the horrors he's witnessed and the ones he imagines in his fractured mind. The scariest part of working here is the unpredictability. One moment, a patient could be docile, lost in their own world, and the next, they could be a whirlwind of rage and fear. We are trained to handle these situations, but nothing truly prepares you for the raw, primal fear that grips you when a patient turns violent. I remember one particularly harrowing night when I was doing my rounds. The storm outside had knocked out the power, plunging the hospital into darkness. The emergency lights cast eerie shadows that danced along the walls. As I walked past room 213, where Lila, a former meth addict, was housed, I heard a faint sobbing. I entered her room cautiously, the dim light barely illuminating her gaunt figure curled up in the corner. "Lila, are you okay?" I asked softly. She looked up, her eyes wide with terror, and whispered, "They're here. The shadows, they're coming for me." Before I could react, she lunged at me, her fingers clawing at my face. I struggled to restrain her, my heart pounding in my chest. Her strength, fueled by fear, was terrifying. It took 2 orderlies to pull her off me and sedate her. I spent the rest of the night with a bloody scratch across my cheek, the echo of her screams ringing in my ears. The nights at Meadowbrook are the worst. The darkness seems to amplify the madness, and the whispers of the patients become a chorus of despair. I've seen nurses come and go, many unable to cope with the relentless fear and the emotional toll. It's a job that demands not just skill, but an iron will and a heart that can bear the weight of sorrow. Every day, I see the fine line that separates sanity from madness. The patients at Meadowbrook are not monsters. They are victims of circumstances, of choices, and of their own minds. Yet, the danger they pose is real, and the fear they evoke is a constant companion. I often think about the stories locked within these walls. Each patient, a chapter of horror, regret, and pain. And amidst it all, we, the nurses, are the caretakers of their broken minds, navigating the treacherous corridors of their psyches, trying to bring a semblance of peace to their tormented lives. Working at Meadowbrook is not just a job. It's a relentless journey into the heart of darkness. It's a place where fear is a constant shadow, where the cries of the damned echo through the halls, and where every day is a battle to maintain a fragile hold on humanity in the face of overwhelming madness.